Standing in the peach orchard at Gettysburg. In the distance is the Abraham Trossel farm. And as you go to the left, you'll see the Pennsylvania monument at the top of it. And that's basically Cemetery Ridge. Going back in this direction, which you can't see for the foliage, but the round tops are obscured by the peach trees. Coming back around, the tree line in the distance is the Confederate line at Seminary Ridge. Now they call it Confederate Avenue. That is basically where Longstreet's attack would launch. The big part of it launched actually all the way up and down through here and even around this way, which you can't see. And would come across their famous charge of Williams, Barksdale, Kershaw, South Carolinians, and this is where Dan Sickles moved his corps up to higher ground. I'll pan back around. The round tops over that way, which again you can't see, but he decided he was down in a hole, didn't like it, and without orders moved his entire corps, 10,000 men, up to this position without permission, thinning his lines, and his corps was destroyed, taking over around 50% of casualties. Just down to left here in the clearing there, that is the Joseph Sherfy farm, or barn, excuse me. He owned this peach orchard at the time of the battle, and him and his family had to evacuate. Eventually, they didn't want to at first, but things got too tight. The barn itself, that is not the original barn. The original barn became a field hospital for Union troops on day 1, and on day 2 was accidentally set on fire by artillery fire, many of the wounded burning alive inside. But you could see the distance the Confederates charged or attacked from across the field, amazing distances. But they did completely overrun the peach orchard and take control of it, running the Union troops back down towards the Trossel farm. They moved their artillery up here and pummeled Union troops as they retreated. And if you see to the left of the barn down there, the Trossel barn, that was Sickles' headquarters during the battle. And there was a small monument just to the left of the barn, you could see in the far distance. That is supposedly the spot, and he would swear to the day he died that that was it. He was sitting on a horseback during the battle, and an artillery shell struck him in the leg and basically destroyed his bottom leg, and it had to be amputated that afternoon in a field hospital. And he was sent back to Washington, and I believe it was 2 days after he arrived in Washington, he was visited by President Abraham Lincoln, who happened to think a lot of Sickles because he was a Democrat who supported the Union war effort, which was not real common. Most Democrats were Southerners or Confederates, or they were Copperheads and did not support the war in any shape, form, or fashion. And of course, Sickles got back to Gettysburg before just about anybody else, and Abraham Lincoln would receive the Dan Sickles version of the Battle of Gettysburg. And knowing Dan Sickles, I'm sure he was quite adamant about who was the hero of the Battle of Gettysburg. There's a little question about that from things he said and his writings from history. Walk on down here towards the Confederate line. We're basically looking here to the west for the most part. I get my bearings a little out of whack here with farm you see in the distance is the Rose Farm, known to be probably the bloodiest field, or excuse me, I'm sorry, I apologize, that is not the Rose Farm. I'm pretty sure that farm is what they call the Wheatfield Farm, but I wouldn't want to bet my life on it. And you see one of the nice horse-drawn carriage tours you can take at Gettysburg, which is another great way to tour the battlefield. Nice slow pace with the licensed battlefield guide. I believe it's about $75 a person for a 2-hour horse-drawn carriage tour. But this is basically the peach orchard. Some of the things I'd like to be able to see and point out are a little difficult to point out. But it's hard to see because of all the foliage.